Silent, precise, devastating, drones have become the face of modern warfare. From secretive U.S. strikes in the early 2000s to swarms of low-cost kamikaze drones in Ukraine. This isn't science fiction anymore. It's the new battlefield. Welcome to the rise of drone warfare, where cheap tech is winning real wars. The idea of unmanned war machines, conceived in the minds of inventors and military strategists, dates back over a century. Even before the advent of widespread aviation, the notion of a remotely controlled weapon captivated imaginations. These early concepts, often relegated to the realm of science fiction, hinted at a future where warfare could be waged without risking human lives directly in the line of fire. The dream was to create a force multiplier, a technological advantage that could shift the balance of power. During World War II, amidst the chaos and rapid technological advancements, early prototypes of pilotless planes were tested. These were the first tentative steps towards realizing the unmanned war machine. However, these initial attempts were plagued with problems. They were unreliable, crude contraptions, often more dangerous to their operators than to the intended target. Many ended in spectacular, yet ultimately unsuccessful test failures. The technology simply wasn't mature enough to deliver on the promise. Despite the setbacks, the seed had been planted, and the pursuit of unmanned aerial vehicles continued. Fast forward to the 1990s, a period of significant technological leaps, and the U.S. Air Force introduced something revolutionary, the RQ-1 Predator. This wasn't just another experimental aircraft. It was a sophisticated system, combining advanced sensors, communication technology, and aerial maneuverability. The Predator represented a paradigm shift in military aviation, offering real-time surveillance capabilities previously unimaginable. It was a game-changer, providing commanders with unprecedented situational awareness. Originally used for surveillance in the Balkans, providing critical intelligence during a period of intense conflict, it soon became a weapon. The transformation from a reconnaissance platform to an unarmed combatant was a significant escalation. Fitted with Hellfire missiles, the Predator could now not only observe but also engage targets directly. This marked a pivotal moment in the evolution of drone warfare, blurring the lines between surveillance and lethal action. In 2001, just weeks after the devastating attacks of 9/11, the CIA conducted the first known drone strike in Afghanistan. This event, shrouded in secrecy at the time, signaled a new era of targeted killings. The use of drones in Afghanistan was initially presented as a precise and surgical tool for eliminating high-value targets, minimizing collateral damage. However, the reality on the ground proved to be far more complex, raising serious ethical and legal questions that continue to be debated today. It marked a turning point. Drones were no longer just eyes in the sky, passively observing the battlefield. They were now active participants in the conflict, capable of delivering lethal force with pinpoint accuracy. They were executioners, remotely controlled agents of death, forever changing the landscape of modern warfare and sparking intense controversy about the future of conflict. The implications of this shift are still being felt today, as drones become increasingly prevalent in both military and civilian applications. Over the next 2 decades, drone warfare expanded dramatically, transforming from a niche capability into a central pillar of military strategy. Initially conceived as tools for surveillance and reconnaissance, drones quickly evolved into platforms for targeted strikes. This shift was driven by a confluence of factors, including technological advancements. Drones became the cornerstone of counterterrorism, able to strike targets with surgical precision while keeping operators safe thousands of miles away. This capability offered a distinct advantage over traditional military operations, allowing for rapid response and minimizing the risk of casualties for U.S. forces. The precision targeting capabilities of drones were touted as a way to reduce collateral damage and ensure that only intended targets were engaged. However, the reality on the ground was often more complex, with challenges in accurately identifying targets and avoiding unintended harm to civilians. The use of drones in counterterrorism operations raised fundamental questions about accountability, transparency, and the ethical implications of remote warfare. But it didn't stay exclusive for long. The technology that once defined modern warfare was quickly becoming accessible to the masses. Around the mid-2010s, Around the mid-2010 as civilian drones, like those made by DJI, started appearing in conflict zones, marking a significant shift in the landscape of modern warfare. These commercially available drones, originally designed for recreational and commercial purposes, were now being repurposed for military applications. The ease of access and affordability of these drones made them attractive to a wide range of actors, including rebel groups, militias, and even terrorist organizations. This development raised concerns about the potential for these drones to be used for malicious purposes, including surveillance, reconnaissance, and even attacks. Rebel groups and militias began modifying them to drop grenades or counter-reconnaissance, even attacks. Rebel groups and militias began modifying them to drop reconnaissance, transforming these once innocuous devices into potent weapons of war. The modifications were often simple and inexpensive, requiring only basic technical skills and readily available materials. This democratization of drone technology had profound implications for the nature of conflict, empowering non-state actors and challenging the traditional dominance of state militaries. The use of modified with a laptop and a few $100s, anyone could build a weaponized drone, blurring the lines between hobbyist and combatant. The accessibility of drone technology has created a new paradigm in warfare, where the barriers to entry are significantly lower than ever before. This has empowered individuals and groups to engage in activities that were once the exclusive domain of state actors. The implications of this trend are far-reaching, raising concerns about the potential for increased instability, the proliferation of weapons, and the erosion of traditional security structures. The challenge now is to find ways to mitigate the risks associated with this technology while preserving its potential for beneficial applications. The 2020 Nagorno-Karabakh War served as a stark reminder of how quickly modern warfare can evolve. This conflict, though geographically contained, sent shockwaves throughout the world's military establishments. It highlighted a paradigm shift, showcasing the devastating potential of new technologies on the battlefield and forcing a global re-evaluation of military strategies. The world watched as a relatively small nation leveraged cutting-edge drone technology to achieve significant strategic gains. Azerbaijan's Turkish-made Bayraktar TB2 drones decimated Armenian tanks and artillery from above, all without risking a single pilot. These unmanned aerial vehicles proved to be incredibly effective at targeting and destroying enemy assets, demonstrating a clear advantage in terms of cost-effectiveness and risk mitigation. The success of the Bayraktar TB2 in Nagorno-Karabakh underscored the vulnerability of traditional armored warfare against modern drone technology, signaling a significant change in the balance of power on the battlefield. This aerial dominance allowed Azerbaijan to gain a decisive edge, reshaping the conflict's trajectory. It was a wake-up call. Drones were now essential, not optional. Military strategists around the globe began to understand that integrating drones into their forces was no longer a matter of choice, but a necessity for maintaining a competitive edge. The conflict demonstrated that drones could provide crucial intelligence, conduct precision strikes, and even act as decoys, significantly enhancing overall combat effectiveness. This realization spurred a global arms race, with nations investing heavily in the development and acquisition of drone technology. The era of drone warfare had truly arrived, demanding a fundamental rethinking of military doctrine and resource allocation. In Ukraine, both sides are deploying thousands of drones every month, from large surveillance aircraft providing critical reconnaissance to cheap, fast FPV drones that deliver explosives with pinpoint accuracy. These small, agile drones have become ubiquitous on the front lines, acting as both eyes in the sky and deadly weapons. The scale of drone usage in Ukraine is unprecedented, transforming the nature of trench warfare and creating a highly dynamic and unpredictable battlefield. This constant aerial presence has made traditional military maneuvers far more challenging, forcing soldiers to adapt to a new reality where they are constantly under surveillance and vulnerable to attack from above. Iran's shed 136 drones, cheap, long-range, and deadly, have become a staple of Russia's arsenal, posing a significant threat to Ukrainian infrastructure and civilian populations. These kamikaze drones are designed to loiter over a target area before diving in to detonate on impact, making them difficult to intercept. Their relatively low cost and ease of production have allowed Russia to deploy them in large numbers, overwhelming Ukrainian air defenses and causing widespread damage. The use of Shed 136 drones highlights the growing importance of asymmetric warfare tactics and the challenges of countering low-cost, high-impact drone technology. The battlefield has changed. Drones aren't supporting the fight anymore. They are the fight. They are the eyes, the artillery, and the spearhead of modern combat. This shift represents a fundamental transformation in how wars are fought, with drones playing an increasingly central role in shaping the outcome of conflicts. As drone technology continues to evolve, we can expect to see even more sophisticated and autonomous systems emerge, further blurring the lines between human and machine in the theater of war. The future of warfare is undoubtedly intertwined with the development and deployment of drone technology, demanding careful consideration of its ethical and strategic implications. What makes drones so dangerous isn't just the hardware, it's the software. Today's drones can use artificial intelligence to identify targets, navigate terrain, and even make decisions autonomously. We're now seeing drone swarms, dozens of machines acting as one, overwhelming defenses and striking from all directions. The response? A new arms race. Anti-drone technology. From electromagnetic jammers, to laser systems, to anti-drone drones. It's an invisible war above the battlefield, and it's escalating fast. The future of warfare is cheap, scalable, and airborne. Nations like the US, China, Turkey, and Iran are investing heavily in mass-producible drones. Some cost as little as $500, but can disable a $5 million tank. That kind of asymmetry is changing everything. The next war may not be decided by who has the most troops or tanks, but by who can deploy the most drones, fastest, smartest, and at scale. Welcome to the drone age. From the shadows of Afghanistan to the front lines of Ukraine, drones have reshaped how war is fought. And they're just getting started. Subscribe for more deep dives into military technology and the future of warfare. And let us know in the comments, how do you think drone warfare will evolve next?